Hey everyone, welcome. My name is Jeff Cockrell, Dale Carnegie Master Trainer, Certified High Performance Coach, and founder of Veteran Academy, where we help veterans break the code on success in the civilian world and then help equip them for that mission. Also the founder of Coaching Mastery Community, where we help coaches increase their impact by building coaching mastery and business mastery within a supportive community. And welcome to day number 10 of our 60-day Dale Carnegie Challenge, where I've committed to show up every day and talk about one of Dale Carnegie's principles. And today we actually kind of move into a new section. Our first three were what Dale Carnegie called fundamental techniques in handling people. And that one was don't criticize, condemn, or complain, give honest and sincere appreciation, and arouse in the other person an eager want. Without those three fundamentals kind of uppermost in our mind, it's difficult to do any of the others well. And as I talked about, I really believe principle number 3, arouse in the other person an eager want, is the secret to everything else. I mean, that's really what we're trying to do with all of the other principles. And then we went through 6 ways to make people like you, which were to talk in terms of it was to become genuinely interested in other people, smile, remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language, to be a good listener, encourage others to talk about themselves, to talk in terms of the other person's interests. And yesterday we talked about making the other person feel important and doing it sincerely. And today we move into how do we win people to our way of thinking? How do we gain cooperation? So often in this world, that's what we need. None of us can be successful on our own. I know we often have the image of John Wayne or the Lone Ranger, and every single one of them had someone who helped them. Yes, they were the star, they might have been the moving force, but nothing happens without the support of other people. And once we've built rapport with them, now it's about, okay, how do I connect with them? And this brings us to our very first principle, because this is one of the ones that has been violated so much over the last 3 or 4 years. And we see it's creating acrimony almost everywhere. I was thinking about when I was in the Navy. I called my petty officer in, and we were talking, and I said, I get it. I understand where you're coming from. This is what we're going to do. He said, aye, sir. Now, what we were talking about was our cruise project. We wanted to capture the knowledge of our most experienced people before they left. The Navy had a training program, but it was all kind of standardized. And the thing is yes, we have standard classes of ships, but then each ship has its own unique characteristics. I mean, think about the car that you own. It's not the only kind of car like that, and yet it has characteristics that you know about that make it unique to you. Yeah, maybe it's a 2020 Camaro, and it's like every other 2020 Camaro, except yours has a little different, has a little bit of a personality. It's the same way in the Navy, same way with a Navy ship. Obviously, it's just more pronounced because it's so much more complex. So I wanted to get that specific knowledge captured, and I was getting some pushback from my first class who said, well, I think that's a waste of time. And I said, I hear you. This is what we're doing anyway. So he comes to me a couple weeks later with our very first module done, and he said, I get it. Yes, I get it. I got this, sir. And we put that together, and we seriously, because we were coming back into the shipyards, and for any of you that know that, in the military, people go to the frontline units, the ships that are deploying, the ships that are ready to deploy, the battalions or squadrons that are ready to, that are frontline, that need people, that need to be active. We were going to go into an 18-month-long repair period, so they're cutting holes in the ship, taking big chunks of equipment out, and we're not going to be mobile for a while. And of course, that means we are not a priority to get replacement personnel. So our experienced people would leave, and nobody would show up to replace them until about 2 months before we get underway. We get this big influx, and how do we train them? My goal was to get that information and have it ready, and it worked out really, really well. But I had to fight with my first class a little bit, and then I realized that I was violating principle number 1, or principle number 10, which is the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. He and I had the discussion. There was no sense in arguing about it. I mean, I was in the position to make the decision. We were going to disagree on this. But a couple of things. We built trust over time. So he knew that it was not an ego thing for me. I wasn't trying to put him down or prove a point. I really thought it was best. And so he kind of took it on faith, and he did it like it was his idea. And when it worked, he said, okay, I get it. because I didn't argue, I gave him the room to make a different decision, to go, oh yeah, this makes more sense now. And so when we talk about the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it, it doesn't mean that we're not going to disagree with people. It doesn't mean that we always have to be holding hands and linking arms and marching into the future singing Kumbaya. That is not necessarily what we're doing. Sometimes we are going to disagree with people. The real key is to make sure we don't let emotion get into it, because I really like this. Most arguments are really about 90% emotion and maybe 10% nonsense. Now, I'm not talking about a debate, not talking about a discussion. I'm talking about those things where emotions run high. And the only way to get the best of one of those is to avoid it. So here's 3 strategies that you can use today to make sure that you avoid the argument. The first, and I'm looking down here at my notes, is to ask yourself, when you're going into this, and there might be an argument, you ask yourself, what's the outcome I really want? Is it just about beating this other person down, or am I trying to allow them some room to cooperate? What's the outcome I really want? Second one, check your emotions. If we feel the emotions rising, think about, what about this is causing me to get so frustrated? What about this is causing the emotions to rise? Is that legitimate? The third option, is to ask ourselves, is it about being right or about making the best choice? And sometimes we realize that our emotions are driven about, I need to win, I have to win this, when it's really the winning is getting the cooperation so that we can move forward. So that's the tip. That's the principle and the tips of the day. I look forward to hearing what you choose, and thank you so much for engaging in this. Please feel free to share it with somebody, and if they argue with you about it, don't argue. Meantime, folks, have a great day. Knock 'em alive.